Alright, guys, so here we are again. We're talking about Madden 17. And this is the internal league video. So we'll be making a recruiting video after all teams are selected, and that'll be for the openings that we do have. And right now, first of all, I want to give everyone an idea of where they're at in terms of whether they're going to be in the Madden 17 league or not. Other leagues have begun to recruit for Madden 17, so I wanted to let you know if you're in or not. So that'll give you a chance to join other leagues that are recruiting, since you may not be in this one. And I'm gonna be straight up and honest. And if it offends you or hurts you, I apologize. But I'm not a guy that likes to mince words, especially when it comes down to something that's relatively important in terms of Madden. So just like I did the power rankings just now, I'm gonna follow that same order. Um, so I'll start from the bottom. Vikings. Vikings, you have been in for 17. I would like to see you play some games here. I know your situation, and now that that's been rectified, I would like you to play some games and be active to keep that Madden 17 spot. But you've done a good job since you've been here. We don't have a Black Knights. We don't have a Broncos. We don't have a Giants. Packers. Unfortunately, right now, you're not in for Madden 17. I haven't seen enough activity on a consistent basis from you. Um, yeah, if that changes throughout here going down the line, we can look at it before we do our selection for teams and such and so forth. But right now, you're not in, unfortunately. Cardinals, you are in for Madden 17. I know you've been out on vacation and such, and you've been active in the chat, even though you were on vacation. I appreciate that. Of course, Ravens, you're in for 17. Jets, you are not in for Madden 17. Have not seen consistent activity level. There's been some forces and sims and things of that nature. We really need to see more consistency out of you and activity in the chat, along with participation in off-season activities. Those are big deals, especially for this league. We don't have a Saints. Colts, of course, grind mode you're in. You've been here from the start, and you've been active most of the time. Bucks, you're in for 17. New Falcons, you are in for 17 right now, and that's based on the recommendation of people that have been good to the league. I would like to see some more activity in the chat, though. I saw you made a trade for a running back, which is good. So we'll see how things go with this offseason. Steelers, you're in for 17, but we had a talk, about discussing things in the main chat, and then having issues, how those things should be brought, to my attention and the other commission's attention. So long as those things are done correctly, we won't have issues going forward. Pioneers, you're in for 17. Lions, you're on the borderline. We've had a talk about, what we'd like to see out of you in terms of going forward. And if we get those things, I think you'll be okay. But we need to see that. Redskins, you're in for 17. I'd like to see you be more active in chat, though. You do a good job in the off season. That was a big thing for that, and you're a very good guy. Old school, you're in for 17. We've had a talk about how the process will go down and all that, but you're in. Bills, you're in for 17. Chargers, you are not in for 17 at the moment. The main thing with that is being active in the chat. Scheduling games can be a challenge sometimes with you, and level of activity in the off season is another one. So we got to see those things change. Chiefs, you're in for 17. Diablos, you're in for 17. We did have, I think Bruce had a talk with you though, or he's trying to reach out to you about a couple of things. But you're in for 17 at the moment. Browns, you're good for 17. Seahawks, you're good for 17. And most of these rest of these guys are good because they're near the top. Bulldogs, you're good. Lumberjacks, you're good. Texans, you're good. Cowboys, you're good. Huskies, you're good. Jags, you're good. I'm good. Sansa won't be here, unfortunately, but he would have been good. And Rams, you're good. So that's everyone that's in or out for Madden 17 right now. Let's talk about the process here. And there's been questions about, who has a team, who's choosing teams. Can I have this team or can I get that team? And I've shared this a couple times, and I've been updating it. And I need to add one person to the waiting list because he deserves to be on it. Another former member of the league that I, really like, and I'm glad he's coming back. So right now, there are, let me pull it up to be sure. There are 22 people that have teams for Madden 17. And, of course, that means there's 10 openings because there's 32 teams in the league. So what's going to happen is those 22 will have an opportunity to switch to a team that's currently available. So they can keep their current team or they can switch to a team that's available. And that will start with number 22 and work our way back up. It's kind of like the waiver wire in the NFL where the worst team has the first shot at anyone that's available. So we'll start with Chiefs. He's number 22, and then we'll work our way up. And the order is listed on this blog posting that I have regarding Madden 17, and I'll share it again along with the video. But it's, I won't go through them. Well, yeah, I will. So it starts with and this is going to be done Sunday, August 21st, because we need to know what teams we're going to recruit for going into the release, which is on the 23rd. So it'll be the Chiefs, then Huskies, then Cardinals, Raiders, or Diablos, Jaguars, Vikings, Redskins, Browns, Big Maine, who's already got a team, Ravens, Pioneers, I gotta take 49ers off, so it won't be them. Bulldogs, Buccaneers, Bills, Texans, Old Saints, Rams, Cowboys, Old Giants, Colts, Lumberjacks, and then myself. So we'll go through those 22 teams, and then after those guys have decided which teams we're going to have, then we'll go to the waiting list, and then that goes down, and then that'll start with Old School, and then Deontay, who's a former Lions owner, then the current Steelers, current Seahawks, current Falcons, and then a guy that was the old Ravens, and his name is Ben Jones, and then we'll add the Lions if he makes the cut after that. And then anyone after that that does improve that's currently not in for 17 will be added after those guys. So, if I said you're not in for 17 and you want to get in, and I was pretty explicit about what needs to happen for you to get in. So, if you're not in and you don't like it, then there's other leagues that are recruiting right now. I don't think it's very smart to recruit right now. It's just my opinion, but there are a few leagues that have chosen to do that. We're a month away from having new Madden. There's a lot that can change. We don't have full team ratings yet, and those will come out, before our draft. So it's just my opinion. I think it's silly, but if you want to guarantee a spot for 17 and you don't have a spot here, and you don't want to join, feel free to look around. But that's where we stand in terms of how the process will go down and who's open. And let's go through open teams. There are 10 of them at the moment. The Seahawks, Broncos, Dolphins, Eagles, 49ers, Falcons, Patriots, Chiefs, Bears, and Vikings are all the open teams that are not claimed. But like I said, we will go through the reverse draft first, and then we'll go to the waiting list. And then we'll recruit from there. Now, there should be 3 or 4 teams left after that. And it shouldn't be hard to fill those spots. As far as rules, I mentioned earlier, we will change one rule about disconnects. The current state of the disconnect, meaning the current score when the disconnect happens, that's going to be reset going forward. Alright, so whoever had the ball and all that score and possession will be reset. Of course, sometimes you can't reset the game conditions, of course. But at least the score and possession will be reset, and then you play it from there. That's going to be a definite rule change. With the player editing that we will have access to as a commish, I will have access to. There's going to be certain points throughout the game when we go through a season where I'll open up the chance for you to ask me to change something for you. And believe me, I don't care about player looks and all that, but I know some people do. And that'll probably be opened up in the off season where I have more time to mess around with those kind of things. And here's the thing. There's going to be a lot of crooked commissions out there that do a lot of stupid stuff, and I'm not going to be one of them. I never have been. But I have an ability to change anything. So I'll give you an example. If you miss re-sign period because you're out of town or you can't get on PS4 or Daddy Leagues or whatever to do your re-signs, that'll be a time where I can step in and I can give another year to a player or something like that you don't want to lose, given that you have the money for it, of course. And that's just an example of something where, I can step in and help people out in a legit way. Now, the ratings, the only thing that I'm going to do, and I mentioned it in the chat the other day, and Old Saints was a real bitch about it, but he ain't here no more. If a player is getting a boost, like a big boost, in the Madden roster releases they do on a regular basis, I'll change that player. Because, that's legit. That should be done, okay? I'm not going to take away from a player if he's underperforming, okay? So only boost will be done in a positive fashion in relation to what EA releases in the Madden roster updates. I'm not going to be giving people 95 speed and all that mess. Nah, that's not going to happen, okay? That's the only time I'm giving ratings boost is if EA gives it. And it's in a positive fashion and it makes a difference, okay? Now, like I said, player looks and stuff will probably be in the off season. Anything else you can think of in terms of contracts, unless something crazy has been done, like somebody goes and tries to release a roster, which I don't think is really going to make a big difference now, because as commissions, we can just re-sign those guys the way they were. So I don't think that's going to really be an issue anymore. But unless there's just something egregious, like someone made a bunch of trades and then left and gave it a huge cap penalty, I mean, we can clear that now as it is. So it's going to be really good to have those kind of options in case, something screwy happens. And the best thing I could think of, like I said, was the re-sign thing. But it's not going to be a bunch of editing going on. Most of it, like I said, will be with player looks and stuff, and that can be done in the off season. Contracts if you miss re-sign period. Oh yeah, when you have a rookie drafted, and this goes along with changing players. I know a lot of you like college football. If you have rookies that are drafted and you want to change their name to your favorite college player or whatever, that's fine. I just ask that you get that to me or ask me that in a, you know, reasonable amount of time. I mean, mainly right after the draft. So I can go in and knock it out and I'm not sitting around, you know, doing that all the time because it will be assigned periods. I just got to get the game and see how it's going to flow first. Um, there's going to be changes in preseason. I know they talked about that where most of your cuts will be week 4, and then there's going to be the practice squad, which we will have in this league. There's an option to turn it on or off. I want it on. Um, you can have young players, years 1 and 2, they can be on your practice squad if you can't fit them on your 53-man roster. And that's done in the preseason. So preseason will be a little more important this year. So we'll have to change our advanced schedule the way we currently do it now. We may have to allow a day for that week 4 preseason so you're allowed to set up your practice squad. Now, the interesting thing is you can put people in your rookies on your practice squad or second-year players, but other teams can come along and take those players, and when they take a player, they go to their 53-man roster, just like in real life, okay? So that's something you're going to have to be aware of and play around with before the league starts. Now let's talk about dates. Like I said, Sunday, August 21st, we'll have the reverse draft. So after that night, you'll know what team you have going into Madden 17 for sure. The game drops on the 23rd. I'm going to give everyone a few days, including myself, to play around with it, see how CFM is going to flow, maybe sim a couple CFMs to see how the offseason is going to flow and all that. And then that Saturday, I think it's August 28th, I believe is the date. That's when the league will start, okay? That's when the invites will go out and all that. And as long as everyone joins in a pretty quick fashion, we can really get things started. There will be a poll question put out about if we're going to start and play the first season or if we're going to sim the first season and start in the off season. That'll be done second week of August, and everyone will have a vote on it, and we'll see how it turns out. I know the opinion was kind of split when we mentioned it before. The reason for that is I love team building, and one of the best aspects Madden does is the off season, and you can really get in there and shape your team the way you want it going into another Madden. And we all know, well, I don't know if all of us know, but for me, the first draft is very important because those are the guys that are going to be with you for 10 seasons. So, you know, there's an advantage to starting in the off season for me. That's why I'm putting it out there as an option. And I'll let you guys vote on it, the ones that are in the league already. Like I said, we don't have the game yet, but there's been a lot of information put out there. If you have questions, comments, concerns about, you know, rules for 17, how things will flow and all that, please just send me a DM and I'll be glad to answer it. I got aggravated the other day because, you know, guys that are not active are asking me about what team they can get for 17, and no. That's not how I roll, man. If you're not active now, then we don't want you in 17. And that's myself and the other commissions. We've talked about this for the past week or maybe week and a half about who should come and who shouldn't. And they've been in-depth discussions. And we take this very seriously. We like activity throughout all of Madden, not just during and playing the games, not just in the off season, not just when the trades are out and before the trade deadline. You got to be active in the chat, active on playing your games, and active in the off season. Those are the big keys. And when we don't see that consistency and activity, we ain't gonna have it, man. We ain't gonna have it. I mean, it's July 30th. A lot of other leagues are dying. We have some open spots, but overall, the league is strong, and it's gonna continue to be strong. And we got to have the right people here. And we're going to have the right people. Now, last thing before I end, we talked about naming the league. And it's been kind of funny the past a couple days, seeing all the suggestions. Right now, I said Heavy, who's the Huskies owner, has the best suggestion with the Primetime Elite League. I like that name. I like how it, rolls off the tongue. And that's the leader right now. I said the winner would get a third round draft pick in the upcoming last draft. So I still have the challenge out there. It's gonna go until the off season. Um, but I like the sound of that. I think I had a suggestion. I can't even remember it now. I had to scroll back in the chat. But Primetime Elite League right now is the name that is in the lead. Remember, it's got to be an acronym of PEL. Those got to be the three letters because that's the site we're going to switch to. So the current Daddy Leagues is going to go away because that's a League of Legends thing, and the name is so stupid. I would get questions all the time trying to recruit if we were a Legends League, which there are some of those where they have the old players play like Jerry Rice and Joe Montana and all them, and we're not. So that's why we're changing the name. Plus, I didn't like it anyway. An old Commish thought it was a good name. Stupid. But anyways, don't forget about the naming contest. So that's what we're looking at for Madden 17. Very excited. They're going in the direction of sim football. I love the things that Rex Dixon and Clint Oldenburg have been talking about. If you want more Madden 17 details other than what EA's been giving us about the player ratings and all that, go on Operation Sports Madden Football. There's a lot of information there about 17. There's a thread on their website, and they've got developer tweets. And these guys have been tweeting out all kinds of information that people ask them on Twitter and all that. That's where I get a lot of my information. So if you want to know more about it, go on there, and it's really, really good stuff. But that's where we are for Madden 17. That's the plan. Like I said, if you got ideas, suggestions, let me know. There will be more stuff coming for 17, especially predictions. That's going to be a fun one. I was thinking about how to do it, and I think I've got it figured out. So, you'll like that. I know that was suggested to me from the guy that was doing them all crazy. And I know him. He's actually a really good guy. And he liked some of my video ideas, and I liked his prediction thing. So a little bit of sharing, sharing is caring. All right, that's it, guys. It's 10:08. I got to get a drink. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.